Isha is standing at the door of a luxury hotel, hands trembling, holding her cell phone. Inside it, a message she just received from a friend. I just saw Steph entering the Millennium Hotel. A beautiful woman went in right after. Sorry to tell you this. The hotel is only 15 minutes from home. It is 10 p.m. on a Friday night. You can notice that there is a type of silence that freezes the entire world when the life you know is about to crumble. But to understand how Ayesha Curry, wife of one of the most admired men in the world, arrived at this moment of pure desperation, we need to go back 5 days. 5 days earlier, on a Monday morning, Isha's life was exactly as she always dreamed. The house smelled of banana pancakes, a recipe that Steph had loved since their first date, 15 years ago. The sound of children's laughter echoed through the kitchen while Ayesha finished breakfast. The morning light came through the windows, creating that golden atmosphere that made everything seem perfect. Steph rushed in, tie half crooked, that smile that still made her heart race after so many years together. "I need to leave earlier today," he said, kissing her forehead with the tenderness of always. Important meeting. It was the third important meeting of that week. Actually, it was the 12th of the month. But who was counting, right? You can notice that something changes in the air when the person you love starts using the same excuses. It is subtle, almost imperceptible. But it is there, like a wrong note in a song you know by heart. While Steph was showering, his cell phone vibrated on the kitchen table. Ayesha was not in the habit of touching her husband's cell phone. Trust had always been the foundation of everything between them. 15 years of marriage built on absolute honesty. But something, perhaps instinct, perhaps that sixth sense that every woman develops, made her eyes drift to the illuminated screen. Message from Diana Thompson. Our meeting today needs to be discreet. The project is in the most delicate phase. See you at 8 a.m. at the usual place? And then, that detail that made Ayesha's stomach turn. A small symbol at the end of the message that seemed to suggest too much affection. How many times in life does a seemingly simple message have the power to destroy everything you believe to be true? Ayesha felt her hands become freezing. Her heart raced. The kitchen, which seconds ago smelled of happiness and pancakes, now seemed suffocating. Steph always said a phrase she loved. "Great things happen when nobody is watching." It was his mantra, the life philosophy that explained his success, his humility, his way of surprising her with small gestures. But at that moment, standing in the kitchen with his cell phone vibrating in her hand, Ayesha realized that this phrase could have a completely different meaning. A dark meaning. Treacherous. She opened Google discreetly, fingers trembling. Diana Thompson. The PH results appeared instantly. Diana Thompson, renowned architect. Exclusive projects for high-end clients. Specialist in creating spaces that transform lives. The photo on the professional website showed a 34-year-old woman, impeccable dark hair falling in perfect waves over her shoulders, confident smile that radiated sophistication, elegant dress that accentuated a magazine-worthy silhouette. The type of woman who appeared on covers of architecture magazines, the type of woman who made other women feel instantly insecure. It was like looking at a polished, sophisticated, and impossible version of herself. Ayesha continued searching, her heart now beating so hard she was sure Steph could hear from the bathroom. She found photos of Diana at gala events, always dazzling, always surrounded by powerful men who seemed to compete for her attention. At architecture awards, receiving trophies with that radiant smile, at charity dinners, shining brighter than the jewelry she wore. And then Isha found something that made her stomach turn in a way she had never felt before. A photo on an architecture blog from a year ago. Diana at a construction site, white helmet contrasting with her dark hair, radiant smile illuminating her sun-bronzed face. And beside her, wearing jeans and work shirt, was Steph, her husband. Her Steph. The caption said, Diana Thompson on confidential project with anonymous investor. Details coming soon. It is impossible not to feel when the pieces start to fit together in the worst possible way. Like a puzzle you do not want to complete, but your hands keep placing the pieces in place, one by one, until the horrible image becomes too clear to deny. That night, while Steph slept beside her, breathing deep and tranquil like someone who has no secrets to hide, Isha did something she never imagined doing. She waited until she was certain he was in deep sleep, took his laptop from the office desk, and opened it. They had always shared passwords, throughout the years, a demonstration of mutual trust that now turned against herself. Her hands were shaking so much she needed to rest her elbows on the table to be able to navigate. What she found made the world spin. In the last 5 years, monthly transfers of very high amounts to an account she did not recognize. $250,000 per month. For 60 months. $15 million. $15 million can build many things. A foundation, an empire, an entire life with another person. The next day, during dinner, Isha decided to test the waters. The children had already gone upstairs to do homework. It was just her and Steph at the table, the silence between them filled only by the sound of cutlery. "Steph," she said, trying to keep her voice firm, "I saw a message on your phone this morning. From a certain Diana Thompson?" Steph almost choked on the water he was drinking. His eyes widened for a fraction of a second before he composed his expression. "Diana? Oh, yeah, work. Just work, love." "What kind of work?" The pause was too long, too heavy, too revealing. "It's complicated. It has to do with investments. Nothing you need to worry about right now." Nothing you need to worry about right now. The phrase every spouse fears hearing. The words that always precede a devastating revelation. Investments that cost $250,000 per month? Isha let slip, unable to hold back. The silence that followed weighed like molten lead in the air. Steph placed his fork on the table slowly, very slowly, as if he were buying time to think of an answer. "Isha, there is something I need to tell you, but it is not the right time yet. Please, trust me. Just a few more weeks." He leaned forward and took her hand. Those hands she knew so well. That held her at the altar. That held their children when they were born. That consoled her in difficult moments. "Great things happen when nobody is watching," he whispered, trying to smile with that smile that always melted any defense of hers. But now those words sounded like a confession, like a secret code she had finally deciphered. On Wednesday, Isha received a call that would change everything. It was Jennifer Walsh, a close friend who lived in San Francisco. Her voice was tense, hesitant, loaded with that energy of someone who has bad news and does not know how to deliver it. "Isha, I do not know if I should tell you this, but I saw Steph today. He was at a French restaurant downtown. That super romantic one in the financial district, you know? With a woman." Isha's heart stopped, literally stopped for a second, before returning to beat at a frantic rhythm. A woman? Beautiful. Very beautiful. They were, how can I say, close. Laughing a lot. She touched his arm several times. The way they looked at each other, Ayesha, they seemed intimate. Very intimate. What did she look like? Ayesha needed to know, even though each detail was a stab. Dark, hair, navy blue dress, extremely elegant. She looked like she walked out of a magazine. They toasted with champagne. They seemed to be celebrating something. Diana Thompson. It had to be Diana Thompson. That Friday night, at 9:45 p.m., while Ayesha was lying in bed pretending to read a book, her cell phone vibrated with a message that made her world completely crumble. It was from Jennifer again. Ayesha, I am so sorry, but I thought you should know. I am here at the Millennium Hotel, bar with some friends. I just saw Steph arriving, and a few minutes later I saw a woman with dark hair entering as well. She looked like the same woman from the restaurant. Ayesha grabbed the car keys with hands shaking so much they fell twice before she could hold them. The hotel was 15 minutes away. 15 minutes that could confirm or destroy everything she believed about her life. Have you ever had to choose between believing in someone you love or believing your own eyes? Have you ever had to drive to the place where your entire life may be crumbling, while every red light seems like an eternity? But Ayesha did not go to the hotel that night. At the last second, sitting in the car in the garage, engine running, she turned everything off and returned home. But sleep did not come. How could it? Great things happen when nobody is watching. The phrase echoed in her mind like a curse she could not exorcise. Great things or great betrayals? In the following days, Ayesha transformed into something she never imagined being, an investigator of her own life. Each click on the computer made her heart race. Each new discovery was a stab disguised as revelation. Each evidence was another brick in the wall that was rising between her and the husband she thought she knew. She found a joint bank account in the name of Steph and Diana Thompson. The balance made her need to sit down. $2,800,000. Money she did not know existed. Money her husband shared with another woman. Then she found a hidden folder in his email. Hundreds of messages exchanged with Diana over 5 years. 5 entire years of secrecy. Ayesha opened some with her heart in her throat. Steph, the project of your dreams is taking shape. I can hardly wait to see your face when everything is ready. Diana, you are doing something that will change my life forever. I do not know how to thank you for existing. Our secret is killing me, but I know the wait will be worth it. Each day, closer. Have you ever read words that seemed innocent until context transformed them into pure poison that burns inside? Ayesha decided she needed to see Diana personally. She found the address of the architecture office, a modern building in an upscale area of San Francisco, all glass and steel, the type of place where important people do important business. She parked across the street and waited, feeling ridiculous and desperate at the same time. At 11:30 a.m., a high-gravity black Mercedes parked in front of the building. Diana Thompson got out of the car. She moved with an elegance that seemed rehearsed, each step calculated. The sound of heels on the asphalt echoed confidence. She carried an expensive leather briefcase and a coffee that probably cost more than a whole family's lunch. But what really destroyed Ayesha was what happened 5 minutes later. Steph arrived. He looked around, nervous, like someone who does not want to be seen, and entered the building quickly, almost running. 15 minutes turned into an hour. An hour turned into 2. Each minute was torture. What were they doing in there? Why so much time? Why that nervousness? When Steph finally came out, Diana was with him. They walked to her car, talking low, so close that their shoulders almost touched. At one point, Diana touched his arm, a light gesture, familiar, too intimate to be professional. And then she smiled. That kind of smile you reserve for someone very special. Steph smiled back in the same way. That night, while Steph slept, Ayesha checked the location history of the family sharing app they used. It was something they had installed years ago for safety, to always know where family members were. Something that started as protection now became an investigation tool. She hated herself for doing this, but could not stop. She found an address that appeared repeatedly, week after week, month after month. 2847 Riverside Road, private property. A quick search revealed 5-acre lot purchased 5 years ago. Registered owner, Steph Curry and Diana Thompson. 5 acres is enough space to build a house, a farm, an entire life with another person. Ayesha called Jennifer Walsh again. She needed to talk to someone before going completely crazy. Jen, I need to tell you something. I think Steph is having an affair. Ayesha, no. Are you sure? Steph loves you so much. Joint bank account with another woman. Secret emails for 5 years. Land purchased together. Meetings at hotels. What else do I need, Jen? What else? The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. Jen? Ayesha, I did not want to tell you this, but I saw them again. Last week, he was taking her to a construction site. They seemed very happy, laughing together, as if they shared something very special that nobody else understood. On Thursday, Ayesha was at home when Steph's phone rang. He was in the shower. The name on the screen, Diana Thompson. Ayesha answered without thinking, moved by desperate courage. Hello? Pause on the other side. Clear surprise in the voice that responded. Oh, you must be Ayesha. Diana's voice was soft, almost warm, the type of voice that made you trust instantly. I did not expect you to answer. Who are you? Ayesha's voice trembled with mixed anger and fear. My name is Diana. I work with Steph. Is he there? Work with him on what, exactly? Because, from what I discovered, you two work on much. More than projects. Another pause. Longer. Heavier. Ayesha, I would love to tell you everything, but Steph made me swear secrecy. Please, just a few more weeks. I promise it will make sense. Everything will make sense. Secret? You two have a joint account, meet at hotels, bought land together, exchange messages with heart emojis. What kind of work is this, Diana? Diana sighed, a strange mixture of frustration and something that sounded almost like compassion. I know exactly how this must look, but you need to trust Steph. What we are doing, Ayesha, is for you. Everything is for you. For me? You are having an affair with my husband and you say it is for me? Ayesha, it is not what you think. Ayesha hung up. What is most striking about lies is how they always come wrapped in requests for trust, in promises that everything will make sense if you just wait a little longer. That afternoon, Ayesha invaded Steph's laptop for the first time. She hated becoming this person, but there was no going back. She found a hidden folder called Project Grace. The name made her heart stop. Grace was her mother's name. Her mother, who passed away 8 years ago. Inside the folder, hundreds of photos. Photos of construction, of land being prepared, of foundations being raised, of metal structures growing against the sky, and in all of them, Steph and Diana, side by side, smiling, pointing to architectural plans, discussing details, clearly involved in something big and secret. In one of the photos, Diana was hugging Steph. The sunset in the background painted everything golden. Both were looking at something outside the camera with expressions of pure joy. That kind of joy that comes from accomplishing something significant. The photo caption said, "The dream is becoming reality. Grace would be proud." Why were Steph and Diana using her mother's name? How did they dare involve Grace's memory in this? It was such a deep violation that Ayesha felt nauseous. She closed the laptop. Tears ran down her face, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of pure and burning anger. How did Steph dare use her mother's name in his affair? How did Diana dare say it was for her? Great things happen when nobody is watching, Steph always said. But the worst things also happen in darkness. The betrayals, the lies, the double lives. Ayesha picked up the phone and called Steph, hands shaking so much she almost dropped the device. "Where are you?" "At the office, love." "Why? Did something happen?" "Lie. You are with her, are you not?" Silence. The kind of silence that confirms everything. "Ayesha, I saw the photos, Steph. I saw everything. The account, the emails, the land. I saw you two together in hundreds of photos. I saw how you look at each other. I saw my dead mother's name being used in your secret project with her." "Ayesha, please, let me explain. Please. It is not what you think." "Explain what?" "That you are building a life with another woman, using my dead mother's name? That you spent $15 million in secret? That you have been lying to me for 5 years?" Her voice broke on the last sentence. "Tomorrow. I want you home tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I want her there too." "Her?" "Diana. I want to look both of you in the eyes and hear the truth. The whole truth. Every detail. Every lie. Everything." "Ayesha, please." She hung up. Have you ever had to schedule the day your entire life would be destroyed? Have you ever had to choose the exact time when you will sit down and hear the person you love explain how they betrayed you? The 24 hours that separated that call from the confrontation were the longest of Ayesha's life. Each minute dragged like an hour. Each hour weighed like eternity. Time seemed to have stopped, stuck in that horrible space between knowing and not knowing, between fear and certainty. She did not sleep, did not eat, just waited. Steph tried to call 17 times. She did not answer. He sent 23 messages. She did not read them. The only response she gave was short and cold. 6 p.m. Both of you. Here. At 5:30 p.m., Ayesha looked at herself in the mirror. Deep, dark circles marked her face. Red eyes from crying so much. Hands still trembling. But there was something new there. Something she had not seen before. Determination. A strength born from pain. She was not going to cry in front of them. Was not going to scream. She was going to hear the truth, all of it, and then decide what to do with the pieces of life that remained. It was like preparing for surgery that you know will hurt tremendously, but that needs to happen so you can move forward, one way or another. 5:58 p.m. The sound of a car in the garage made Ayesha's heart race. 2 cars, Steph's, and a black Mercedes. Diana. Ayesha heard the doors closing, steps at the entrance, low voices, Steph saying something she could not hear, probably last-minute instructions. And then silence. The living room. Door opened. Steph entered first. His eyes were red, too. He seemed to have aged 10 years in 24 hours. And behind him entered Diana Thompson. In person, She was even more impressive. Simple, but elegant dress. Impeccable posture. But there was something in her eyes that Isha did not expect. Nervousness. And tears? Why would the other woman be crying? Sit. Isha's voice came out colder than she herself expected. They sat. Steph in the armchair beside. Diana on the sofa, keeping a respectful distance. The silence in the room was so dense it seemed solid. So, Isha crossed her arms, armor against what was coming. 5 years. You two. A secret life. Explain to me. Everything. Steph opened his mouth, but Diana interrupted him gently. May I start? You. Isha laughed, a bitter laugh, without humor. The mistress wants to start the explanation? Please, go ahead. I am not. Diana paused, breathed deeply, choosing words carefully. Isha, I know exactly what you are thinking, and I understand perfectly. If I were in your place, I would think exactly the same thing. But I need to ask you a question before explaining anything. Isha frowned, confused with the direction of the conversation. What question? Do you remember a conversation you had with Steph 6 years ago, on the anniversary of your mother's death? It was dawn. You were alone in the kitchen. Isha's heart stopped. Grace, her mother, the anniversary of her death. Isha swallowed hard. I do not know exactly what you are talking about. Steph leaned forward. His voice came out low, choked with contained emotion. Isha, that day, you were crying in the kitchen. It was 3 a.m. You thought I was sleeping, but I woke up and heard you. I came down slowly and stayed at the door, just listening, because I knew you needed that moment alone. Isha tried to remember. 6 years ago, the anniversary of her mother's death. She remembered the sharp pain, the tears, but did not remember. Steph, listening. You were looking at old photos, Steph continued, voice breaking. Photos of your mother when she was young. And you said something that never left my head. You said, Mom always dreamed of helping poor children. She said, education was the only thing nobody can steal from you. If she were alive, I know she would have created a school. A place where every child could have a chance, regardless of where they were born, or how much money their family has. Tears returned to Isha's eyes. She remembered now, vaguely, like a half-erased memory, but she remembered. That dawn, the dark kitchen, the photos scattered on the table, the unbearable pain of loss. And then you said something else. Steph was crying now, tears falling freely. You said, one day, when I have enough money, I will do this for her. I will create something that carries her name forever. Something that helps all the children she could never help. It is impossible not to feel when a forgotten piece of your heart is returned to you, when words you did not even remember saying come back to find you years later. Diana leaned forward, her voice soft but firm. The next day, Steph looked for me. I had never seen anyone so determined. He said, I want to build a school. No, more than that. I want to build a complete educational campus. A place that offers full scholarships for underprivileged children, quality education, first world structure, excellent teachers. And I want it to carry Grace's name. Isha was frozen. Her brain struggled to process what she was hearing. But he said one more thing, Diana continued. He said, my wife cannot know until it is absolutely perfect. She carries so much pain for her mother. If this does not work out, if we fail, it will destroy her even more. So it needs to be perfect, impeccable. Can you do this, Diana? Can you create something that does justice to her dream? You Ayesha could barely breathe. You are building a school? Not a school, Steph said quietly. A campus, complete, with everything. The pieces began to reorganize in Ayesha's mind, forming a completely different image from the one she had constructed. The $15 million, she whispered. Campus construction and scholarships, Steph confirmed. Foundation, structure, 5 buildings, equipped classrooms, library with thousands of books, science laboratories, arts center, sports courts, plus 4 years of full scholarships for 500 children in private schools. While we built, Diana managed to work miracles with the budget. Every cent went to the children. The secret meetings? Approval of blueprints with City Hall, meetings with contractors, work inspections, selection of suppliers. Diana explained, her voice gaining animation. Everything had to be extremely discreet. We could not risk the press finding out before you. It would have ruined the whole surprise. The joint account? To facilitate construction payments, Steph said. Diana manages suppliers, payments, everything. I could not hide such large transactions in our account without you discovering. The land on Riverside Road? Diana smiled for the first time, a genuine smile that lit up her face. 5 acres in rural zone, 40 minutes from here. Beautiful view of the mountains, fresh air, quiet. Perfect for children to learn without the noise of the city. When I saw that place, I knew it was perfect. And the hotel? Ayesha asked, voice breaking. You were seen together at a hotel. You seemed so intimate. Steph visibly blushed. Meeting with international investors. They were staying at the hotel. Diana presented the complete architectural project. We got donations of another $1 million that night. That is why we were celebrating. Diana stood up, picked up a folder that was beside her on the table. Ayesha, may I show you something? She opened the folder and handed it to Ayesha. Inside, photos. Hundreds of them. Photos of children. Children studying. Children smiling. Children in impeccable uniforms. Children in classrooms. Children playing. Who are these children? Ayesha asked, barely able to hold the folder with trembling hands. The 500 children, Steph said quietly, kneeling in front of Ayesha, who are already receiving scholarships from the Grace Memorial Foundation while the campus is being finalized. Ayesha covered her mouth with her hand. 500? We started the scholarship program 4 years ago, Steph explained, tears streaming. We could not wait for the campus to be ready. The children needed help now, so we created a scholarship program in private schools in the region. Full payment of tuition, school supplies, uniform, food, transportation, psychological support, everything they needed. Diana began to turn the pages, pointing to different photos. This is Emma, 9 years old. She wants to be a doctor. Her grades went up 40% since she entered the program. Her mother worked 14 hours a day and barely had time to help with homework. This is Noah, 12 years old, math genius, won state Olympiad last year. Before the scholarship, he was about to drop out of school to work and help his family. This is Maya, 7 years old, daughter of single mother who was about to give up on everything. Today, she is the best student in her class. Tears were flowing freely now down Ayesha's face. She looked at each photo, each smiling little face, each impeccable uniform, each transformation story. And all of them, she could barely speak, all of them are here because Of your mother, Steph completed, voice choked. Because of her dream. And yours. That conversation you had at dawn, crying alone in the kitchen, changed 500 lives and will change thousands more. The emails, Isha whispered, still processing. You talked about our secret, about how it was killing you to hide this. The campus, Diana said gently. Every email was about the project, about whether the walls should be blue or green, about which library would be better for the children, about how to make every inch of the campus perfect for you. The heart emoji in the messages? Diana blushed slightly. I admit that was inappropriate, but it was not romantic. I get emotional very easily. Every time we saw the progress, every time another child entered the program, I sent that without thinking. I should have thought better about how it would look. And when you told me, Isha looked at Diana, that what you were doing was for me? Because it was the absolute truth, Diana said, her eyes shining with tears. Isha, I never met your mother, but I worked 5 years on this project. I read everything about her. I talked to dozens of people who knew her. Your father showed me photos, told me stories. Your husband made me understand exactly who Grace was, what she loved, how she saw the world. And I can say with certainty, we are building exactly what she would have wanted. Every detail was thought out to honor her memory. Steph knelt in front of Isha, taking her hands. Do you remember when I always said, great things happen when nobody is watching? Isha nodded, tears streaming. I was wrong, Steph whispered. Great things happen when you are not watching, because they are surprises made with pure love, because they are gifts we want to deliver perfect, complete, ready to change your life and honor who you love. How do you ask for forgiveness for having kept the greatest gift of someone's life a secret? How do you explain that each lie was a brick in the construction of a dream? There is one more thing, Diana said softly. The campus is 98% ready. Only one crucial thing is missing. What? Isha asked, still in shock. You, Steph said. You need to see it personally. You need to walk through the rooms. You need to approve every detail. You need to feel if we did everything right. If your mother would be proud. When? Diana and Steph exchanged complicit looks. Tomorrow? Steph offered. We can take you tomorrow morning, see everything, the complete campus. And then what? And then there is something that will happen in 3 days that will change everything, Diana said, a mysterious and emotional smile emerging. Something that the whole world will want to see. Something that will inspire millions. What is most striking about surprises is not what you discover, but what is still to come, waiting to transform everything again. Isha did not sleep that night either, but for the first time in an entire week, it was not because of fear or anger or distrust. It was because of pure anticipation, because of hope, because of that electric energy that comes when you know something extraordinary is about to happen. When the sun rose, she was ready. The smell of fresh coffee filled the kitchen. Steph had woken up early too. They drank coffee in silence, but it was a completely different silence. It was not the heavy silence of distrust. It was the reverent silence of those who are about to witness something sacred, something beyond words. At 9 a.m., Diana arrived. This time, there was no tension. Just a genuine and warm smile when she greeted Isha. Ready to meet your mother's dream realized? They got in the car and headed to the countryside. With each kilometer, Isha's heart beat harder. The urban landscape gave way to green hills, ancient trees, open and infinite sky. The air became cleaner, purer, loaded with possibilities. 40 minutes later, Diana turned onto a well-maintained dirt road. And then Ayesha saw. At the top of a hill, against the absolutely perfect blue sky, rose a structure that seemed out of a dream. Grace Memorial Educational Campus. The name was engraved in elegant letters at the entrance, polished bronze shining in the sun. When the car stopped at the entrance, Ayesha got out slowly. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and new paint. The sound of birds echoed throughout the entire property. A gentle and delicious breeze carried the aroma of flowers. IP trees, her mother's favorite flowers. Steph planted purple IP trees everywhere, hundreds of them, creating a sea of beauty. He researched for months, Diana whispered beside her, to find the exact species your mother loved. He imported some from other states. Ahead of them, a two-story main building, wide windows that seemed to embrace light. Modern, but welcoming design, soft and inviting colors. Around, 4 other smaller buildings, connected by impeccable tree-lined paths. Everything seemed to have been painted by an artist. That is the administrative building, Diana pointed proudly. There, the science laboratory with university equipment. There, the library with 15,000 new books. There, the arts center with musical instruments and first-class materials. And that one in the back is the cafeteria and sports gymnasium. But it was not the perfect architecture that was making Ayesha cry uncontrollably. It was the bronze plaque at the entrance of the main building. Ayesha approached it, trembling, reading each word as if they were sacred. This campus was built in memory of Grace Mitchell, 1952 to 2017, who believed that every child deserves a chance, regardless of where they were born, and in honor of Ayesha Curry, who carries her mother's dream in her heart and soul. Diana guided them inside. Each room was absolutely perfect. Classrooms with state-of-the-art equipment, comfortable desks, walls painted with inspiring colors. Library with 15,000 new books organized by category. Reading armchairs, abundant natural light. Science laboratory that looked like an expensive private university's, with microscopes, telescopes, materials for experiments. Arts center with quality musical instruments, canvases, paints, art materials waiting for creative hands. But in each space, there was something special that went beyond the structure. In the library, a small and delicate statue of a woman reading to children. It had Grace's face, sculpted with love and impressive details. "We found old photos of her," Steph explained quietly, voice choked. "We hired a specialized sculptor. It took 8 months to be perfect." In the cafeteria, the walls had vibrant, colorful paintings of children playing, studying, dreaming, each with an inspiring phrase. The first phrase, in large, golden letters, was, "Education is the only thing nobody can steal from you." Grace Mitchell. "Those were your mother's favorite words," Diana said softly. "Your father told us she said that almost every day." In the gymnasium, a giant mural covered an entire wall. Hundreds of colorful handprints, each unique, each with a name written underneath. "The 500 children who already received scholarships," Steph explained, pointing. "Each left their mark here, literally. They came, put paint on their hands, and left their mark. 500 hands, 500 futures, 500 lives transformed by a dream forgotten at dawn." "There is a special place I want to show you," Steph said, guiding Isha to a room on the second floor of the main building. When they opened the door, Isha gasped, covered her mouth with both hands. It was an office, but not just any office. Each wall had huge photos of her mother. Young Grace, full of life. Grace smiling that smile that illuminated any environment. Grace teaching children voluntarily in the neighborhood where she grew up. Grace holding baby Isha with that look of pure and unconditional love. In the center of the room, an old wooden table, worn by time but beautiful in its simplicity. "This table," Steph said, voice completely choked, "belonged to your mother. Your father still had it stored in the warehouse for years. He gave it to me when I told him what we were doing. He said Grace would have loved to know her table would be here." "My father knows," Isha asked, shocked. "He was essential to the project," Diana confirmed, smiling through tears. "It was his idea to include all these photos. He said, Grace needs to be alive here. The children need to know who she was, why this place exists." On the main wall, a huge photo. Grace in her last years of life, smiling radiantly, surrounded by neighborhood children she helped informally. Below the photo, a plaque with words that pierced Isha's heart. "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Grace Mitchell believed with every fiber of her being. And this campus is living proof that dreams do not die. They just wait, patiently, for those who will fulfill them. How many times in life do you discover that someone loved you in a way you did not even know was possible? That someone paid attention to a conversation you had crying alone at dawn, and transformed that into something that will impact thousands of lives? "Isha," Diana looked at her watch. "It is almost 11 a.m. There is something that will happen now that you need to see." "What?" "Come with me. Quickly." They took her to the balcony of the main building, which overlooked the campus's central courtyard. The courtyard was empty, silent, waiting. "Look there," Steph pointed to the entrance down below. Isha looked, and then she saw something that made her heart almost stop. Buses. 5 yellow school buses climbing the hill in line, raising light golden dust on the dirt road. "Steph, what?" The buses stopped at the entrance. The doors opened with a pneumatic sound, and children began to exit. Dozens of them. Then 50. Then 100. Then hundreds. The sound of children's laughter echoed throughout the entire property. Hurried steps, animated shouts of pure joy, the type of chaotic and absolutely pure energy that only children have, all wearing bright blue t-shirts with something written on them. When they organized themselves in the IUDD central courtyard in perfect rows, Isha finally managed to read what was written. "Thank you, Mrs. Isha, Grace Memorial Scholar." 500 children. All there, looking up at the balcony where Isha stood, sleeves trembling with emotion. And then, in perfect and rehearsed unison, they shouted with all the strength of their lungs, "Thank you!" The voice echoed through the hills. Birds flew away, startled. The entire world seemed to stop to hear that cry of pure gratitude. A 9-year-old girl approached the microphone that had been set up in the courtyard. It was Sophie, Isha recognized from one of the photos she had seen. The girl was nervous, but determined. "Mrs. Isha." Her voice was firm but emotional, amplified so everyone could hear. "I do not know you personally, but you changed my life completely." Isha covered her mouth with her hands, tears streaming without control. "My mother has been cleaning houses since I was born. We barely had money for food. I went to the Uadwa public school that was falling apart. But one day, a letter arrived saying I had won a scholarship. Full scholarship. To the best private school in town. Everything because of the Grace Memorial Foundation. Because of your mother, I never knew. And because of you. Another child took the microphone. Jake, 11 years old. Voice firm despite tears. I was going to drop out of school last year. My parents separated, and I needed to work to help at home. But Mr. Steph found me. He told me, "Your future matters. Your dream matters. Today I am the best student in the class, and I want to be an engineer, like him." One more. Ava, 8 years old, holding a colorful drawing in her small hands. I drew Mrs. Grace. I learned about her at school. The teacher showed photos. She was very nice. And you are too. Child after child. Story after story. Dream after dream. It is impossible not to feel when you discover that your pain transformed into the joy of hundreds, that your tears at dawn watered an entire garden of futures. Diana touched Isha's shoulder softly. Isha, there is something you need to know. What? Isha could barely speak. All of this is being broadcast live, to the entire world. What? Steph approached, taking her hand. We wanted the world to know. Not for us, not for fame or recognition, but for the children, for your mother, so that other people would be inspired, so that other dreams could be born. Diana showed the tablet. 2.3 million people watching live at that exact moment. Comments rolled non-stop, hundreds per second. I am crying at work, and my boss is too. This is real love, people. What an incredible legacy, what an incredible story. 500 children, my God. Her mother must be smiling from heaven. I am going to donate to the foundation right now. The story is already everywhere, Diana said softly. CNN, BBC, all social networks. The entire world is watching. Man builds secret campus in honor of deceased mother-in-law and surprises wife with 500 children. It became the most talked about topic globally. The greatest gifts do not fit in boxes. They fit in transformed lives, in realized dreams, in rewritten futures. Isha turned to the children down below, 500 lives looking at her. Diana handed her a microphone. For a moment, Isha could not speak. Tears flowed freely, wetting the microphone. But then she breathed deeply. Children, you do not know how much this means. You have no idea. Absolute silence. 500 children listening, holding their breath. My mother, Grace, she always said the most important thing in the world was to give children a chance to dream, to grow, to become what they wanted to be, not what the world said they could be. Her voice broke, but she continued. She did not live to see this, but I know, I feel in my heart that she is here, in every classroom, in every book in the library, in every science experiment, in every musical note, in each of you. You are her dream alive and breathing. The children were crying now, too. Teachers holding trembling hands. Parents who came along wiping tears without shame. And my husband. Isha looked at Steph, who was beside her. He kept this gigantic secret for 5 entire years. I thought it was something bad, something horrible. But it was the greatest gift anyone could give me. Not the beautiful campus, not the perfect buildings, but you. You 500 and all who will come. You are my mother's dream becoming reality. What is most striking is not how much someone spends on you, but how much someone remembers what you said once, crying, thinking nobody was listening. So I want to thank Diana, who built this place with love and perfection in every detail. Thank Steph, who never forgot a conversation we had at dawn 6 years ago. And thank you, children, for giving purpose to my mother's dream, for proving that education changes everything. She paused, looking at the infinite blue sky. Mom, we did it. You did it. Your dream is alive, and it will live forever. Steph took the microphone, voice firm despite tears. Today, officially, we inaugurate the Grace Memorial Educational Campus, and we declare that, starting today, 200 more full scholarship spots are open. Every child who needs it will have it. Always. Forever. The crowd of children, parents, teachers, and staff exploded in deafening applause that echoed through the hills. Diana approached the microphone. And I have the pleasure of announcing that the educational director of the campus will be, if she accepts, Ayesha Curry. Ayesha's eyes widened. Me? Your husband insisted from the beginning, Diana smiled. And the children voted yesterday. It was unanimous. 500 votes for you. How do you refuse a request from 500 children? How do you turn your back on your mother's dream finally realized? I accept, Ayesha whispered. And then, louder, so everyone could hear, I accept with all my heart. 3 months after the inauguration, the Grace Memorial Campus was operating at full steam, pulsing with life. 700 children now. The first 500 original scholars plus 200 new students who entered after the official opening. The story had gone so viral that donations arrived from absolutely all over the world. More than $50 million raised in 3 months. The campus would expand. More buildings. More scholarships. More dreams. Ayesha worked there 5 days a week. She knew each child by name, knew their stories, their struggles, their dreams. Diana had become a close friend of the family, Aunt Diana to Steph and Ayesha's children. And Steph? He visited the campus every week without fail, played basketball with the children, told inspiring stories, helped with homework, and always finished by saying, "Great things happen when someone believes in you." On a spring afternoon, Ayesha was in the special room, her mother's office on campus. She had received a letter. It was from Emma, the 9-year-old girl who wanted to be a doctor. Dear Mrs. Ayesha, today I got a 10 on the science test. The teacher said, if I continue like this, I can get a scholarship to medical school when I grow up. My mother cried when I told her. She said, Mrs. Grace is smiling from heaven. I did not know Mrs. Grace, but I want to be like her. I want to help people, like she helped us without even knowing. Thank you for existing. With love, Emma. Ayesha held the letter against her chest. The sound of children playing outside came through the open window. Pure laughter. Dreams growing. Futures being rewritten. The smell of IPE trees in bloom perfumed the air, loaded with memories and promises. And for the first time since her mother had departed, Ayesha felt something she had not felt in years. Complete peace. Legacies are not built of stone and concrete. They are built of love, planted in fertile soil and watered by those who continue believing, even when it hurts, even when it seems impossible. The story of Steph, Ayesha, and Diana inspired the entire world in unimaginable ways. In 15 countries, people began to create similar educational foundations. The hashtag #GraceLegacy went viral with millions of posts of people honoring loved ones through acts of kindness. More than 100 celebrities donated significant amounts to the campus. But the real impact, what really mattered, was in the numbers that changed lives. 700 children studying with dignity. 500 families completely transformed. 15 schools inspired globally on different continents. Millions of dollars in donations continuing to arrive. And all because a man remembered a conversation. A conversation his wife had crying alone in the kitchen at dawn. About the dream her mother never had a chance to fulfill. You can notice that the greatest gifts are not those wrapped with colorful bows and shiny paper. They are those built with love, patience, and 5 years of secret kept in the heart. It is impossible not to feel that sometimes what seems like betrayal is actually the greatest act of love disguised, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. And naturally, this leads us to the only truth that really matters. True love does not shout. It builds, in silence, brick by brick, dream by dream. And when it is finally revealed, transformed into something tangible that touches real lives, the entire world stops to watch, to cry, to be inspired. Because in the end, great things really do happen when nobody is watching. But the greatest things happen when someone who loves you is paying attention to every word you say, even those you think nobody heard.